Enough.
John's
Like
second
our horns.
video. Oh, I'm curious. The bird tier list. You got me. You got me hooked, John.
Seeds?
Birds are one of the most popular playable classes in the game, with a huge number of successful builds and tons of
Worms
cool
detected.
However, some of these strategies have clearly been more successful than others.
I want to be a
bird.
bird.
We'll be going over the bird tier list to see which bird ranks highest. But before we get into looking at specific bird builds, let's do an overview of the basic attributes and special abilities the bird faction has access to.
Okay, thank you for the prime. Welcome in. Is there anything in the 7? 80 for the prime. Thank you guys for the primes. Appreciate it.
So birds are one of the newer factions in the game, joining the game's roster during the latter part of the Mesozoic expansion. They began as an offshoot of the dinosaur faction that was specifically adapted to arboreal gameplay.
Babe, this is
when the devs
you.
dropped the Cenozoic balance,
What?
If you were to do history
these
content.
small avians were the only dinosaurs not to be hit by the banhammer. Fast forward to today's
Kinda awesome,
meta,
right?
Birds are one of the most successful factions in the game.
I wish there was a school like this.
Powerful, unique abilities,
I would
in
pop
addition to
off.
the obvious flying attribute.
What is the difference? That you
First,
just
the birds
understand
is
gaming terminology?
Now, beaks were not an entirely
Yeah.
new ability for the reptile player base.
Boxing way better.
Birds went far deeper
The stimulation?
into the skill tree than most dinosaurs ever.
I see what you mean.
The
Not the
tiny bird players
terminology.
opted
The
for
the
extremely
visuals.
specialized beaks to give them an edge.
No,
in
the terminology as
specific
well.
scenarios. However, even the basic beak offers plenty of advantages. While their lack of teeth does mean that they deal reduced damage with their
When someone's
bite
like-
attack, birds can be far more accurate with their pecking attacks, enabling them to hit
2
weak
steps
points or
forward,
secure
1
grabs
step
on
back,
smaller
1 step back.
targets,
I'm
such
like,
as the thin hurt bodies
okay.
of a snake.
I kind of get that.
Beaks also
But when
offer
someone's
armor
like,
protection,
in Jump
potentially
King,
reducing
when
headshot
you
damage
fall,
and nullifying
you can
imprecise
get back up. I'm
counterattacks.
like, fuck yeah.
Beaks also offer some of the best stab
I
type
can get
damage
back
in
up.
the game, which when used accurately
That's all
can
based
deal
off of
massive damage
experience.
on crit.
You wouldn't actually
Beaks
understand
are also
that.
excellent tools for dealing with parasites. In fact, they're so
But we
good
do,
that oftentimes
Jody.
other less dexterous
We do.
players will party up with bird support players in order to have a better matchup against parasites. Feathers are also a unique and powerful trait exclusive to birds that provides excellent cold protection without causing the user to become too over-encumbered to fly. Feathers also offer pretty substantial defense against crush-type attacks, which is especially important to birds because of their hollow bones trait. Hollow bones are another ability meant to synergize with
Like
the
an egg.
flying playstyle. Now, a common misconception is that bird bones are hollow in order to reduce equipment load, but actually they're
My
hollow
gosh.
Oh, what the
bird
fuck?
players fill them with air, which grants them a
Ew.
massive boost to their maximum stamina.
Whoa.
Without this, it'd be extremely tough for
I
a bird
don't
to
like
fly
that.
for any significant period of time. The trade-off, of course, is that a broken bone not only deals serious damage, but also potentially reduces the player's maximum stamina by a huge
makes
margin.
sense.
So a bird player will need all of the blunt damage defense it can get. And speaking of blunt damage, the bird's lower bone density means the bird's own blunt force strikes, like wing attacks.
Oh my- look at that
also deal
swipe.
reduced
Swoop,
damage.
swoop. It's like Maple Story.
The top tier bird builds are the ones that can best capitalize on the strengths of their class while mitigating potential weaknesses.
They're so cute.
That about covers the basics, so let's get into the
Just
tier
like a
list.
horn.
At the bottom of
Aw,
the tier list, we
yeah,
have
but
two
kiwis are
flightless bird
cute.
builds, both with essentially the same glaring weakness. These are
Just like
the
a
kiwi
hawk.
and kakapo. Kiwis are hilariously part of the same faction as ostriches, emus, and cassowaries. For some reason, they opted to give up the flight ability, but didn't use the extra available skill points to spec into gigantism like the rest of their squad did. The result is a build that can literally only exist on island servers where there is no active mammal player base.
Hey, yo,
aka
Mabel.
New Zealand. The kakapo is a
Hey,
flightless version of the
hey!
parrot, and although parrots
Mabel,
are
on that
undoubtedly
bed,
excellent
huh?
bird builds, the flightless weakness is too glaring to ignore. Due to invasive species like rats and cats establishing a presence on island servers, both of these flightless bird builds are seeing major
She gonna
declines
shoot you
in
with
their
lead,
player base,
huh?
and I would not be surprised if they all ended up switching mains. Flight is just too strong an ability to pass up, which brings me to the next builds on my tier list. So I see what these builds were going for. Being giant could potentially make up for the lack of flight, but in practice this didn't quite pan out. While these are technically the strongest birds in terms of base power and defensive stats, for their weight class they are woefully underpowered. They're one of the few megafauna builds that can be taken down by cheetahs, when they should be able to completely annihilate cheetahs with their powerful claws. Their huge weak point is also a lot of opportunity for counterattack too, so if they ever get too bold, they're setting themselves up for a tough loss. Lastly, the fact that they are forced to nest on the ground forces them into an even more vulnerable position than most birds, as ratite eggs are extremely valuable as loot.
That is a gigantic egg. You can make 7 omelets with that thing.
So for ostriches, emus, and cassowaries,
Hey!
this is a huge hurdle.
I think
Next on the tier
hummingbirds are
list, we
cute,
have the hummingbird.
but
This build spec'd purely into mobility.
okay,
and
I
just
want
about
to see
nothing
the
else
best.
for a high intelligence playstyle.
23-minute. Holy
Yeah, this one.
birds.
Okay, we have swans are A.
What?
Why are swans A tier?
Bones and concussed
No,
foes.
look at the kiwi in
Because of this,
F tier.
swans are
The
one of best
bottom
birds
of
at
F
exploring
tier.
Important points of interest, as they're hyper.
They're just
aggressive.
vibing.
They're
No.
hyper-aggressive.
Territory gains. Of course, they do have the same weaknesses as geese, so targeting the swan.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I could fuck up a swan.
But this is a bit risky
Oh,
to play against
Yeah,
a
just
swan
grab
than
its-
against a
yeah.
goose. All around, sturdy defender.
Oh my
definitely
god.
I think
Next on A
owls
tier,
would
we have
definitely
the
be up
owl,
there.
The avian faction's premier stealth assassin build. It owes this reputation to its special ability, which allows it to fly
Barn owls are
completely
fucking
silently.
scary. They literally
This makes
terrify
the
me.
owl's strikes very
Yeah.
difficult to defend
No,
against,
no.
as players just about never see them coming. While not
My
as
little
stacked in power department as their
mouse.
daytime counterparts, owls do have quite solid base stats. While they aren't likely to one-shot high HP targets, they do have enough force behind their attacks to be able to defend themselves and their territory, even from powerful enemies. In addition to granting the owl the silent flight perk,
Hey.
the owl's thick, bushy feathers offer additional defense against attacks, enabling it to stand its ground in important objective defense.
Yeah, owls are
scenarios.
kind of scary.
Interestingly,
Oh
the
my
silent
gosh.
flight perk did come at the cost of the waterproof ability that most bird feathers have, meaning that falling into the water or getting caught in a rainstorm can actually disable the owl's flight ability. A pretty unique weakness, and
No.
certainly something that can be played around,
But
interesting nonetheless.
that's really not that big of a deal. You know, you're just like an Enderman,
In
and
the middle
they're
of
just
A
fine.
tier, we have the eagles and hawks. Hawks
Wait,
and
eagles
follow the
aren't
same
S
basic
tier?
strategy,
I
both
love
having
eagles.
tailored
Or
their builds to
if I
focus
was to
on
be a
dealing
bird, I would
maximum
want to be an
damage
eagle
with
because
their
I feel
talons.
like I'm
Hawks are the
protected
smaller
by,
variants
you
of
know,
this group, and because
the
of this, they are
government,
far more agile.
and I'm big.
While not as powerful as eagles, their agility enables them to weave through cover better than most birds of prey. This makes them well suited for rushing
Damn,
down
look at that
players,
movement.
So
both
this
in
is a
open
hawk?
terrain and in dense, difficult to navigate terrain like forests. Eagles, in contrast, are much more powerful, but their larger size
Shit
and
on.
wider wingspan prevents them from entering dense forests. Still, in open prairies and mountains, eagles can be incredibly
Oh
effective.
my
Oh
god.
my
Greater
god!
damage
Oh
with their
my
enormous
god!
talons. Enough to take down
Jeez.
players in higher weight classes without even
That-
requiring team strategies. These are without a doubt some of the
KO!
strongest bird
Wait,
builds
what
in the
what
game
game
for
was that?
PvP,
Eliminated. What
and
was
have
that?
been for quite some
Halo,
time.
right?
The animation or the
Ooh,
At
sound?
the top of A tier, we have
Animation.
the Grappler Tank Hybrid, the Pelican.
Smash.
Wind Waker.
The Pelican's main
Wait,
strength
no,
is its
it's
throat
not.
pouch.
Overwatch?
Grappling
Overwatch.
enemy players can be a
Hi.
highly effective
Oh my
takedown
God.
strategy, but birds struggle with this since they can't use their wings to grab, and since their beaks aren't always the most reliable grappling weapons.
I wonder where toucans
sometimes
go.
leading to targets escaping. The Pelican's grapple is, in contrast, almost totally inescapable. It works on targets much larger than you might think.
The thing's big.
What are you gonna do
What?
with that thing in your mouth? Like, what are you gonna do? Just swallow
It's
him?
quite powerful against other bird,
Oh
rodent,
my
and amphibian
gosh.
I would just be a
although
turtle.
It does have its
No!
limitations. This,
Run!
combined with the pelican's overall bulk, makes it one of the most difficult birds to take down in single combat, and enables it to stand its ground against even
Okay,
top
fuck.
tiers like
Honestly,
canines.
pelicans are kind of. I
So
would be a
those of you who
pelican as
followed
well.
The channel for a while can probably guess what the top tier birds are going to be. If you can't, that's probably a good indication that you should be subscribed.
I don't know what
Those
that
of
is.
you
It looks like
wishing the devs
what?
could unban the Velociraptor build, look no further than the Secretary bird, as it has basically all the same awesome abilities.
Holy fuck!
and
Look at
more.
its long ass feet.
Hunting on foot and in pairs, they prove time and time again that striking from the sky is overrated. They can easily defeat other high-tier builds, such as the Cobra and Mongoose, with a high
Stop!
damage
Stop!
skill.
Stop!
Their stat move has extremely
Ah!
allowing Secretary Bird players to
Boom!
game-ending headshots with ease, and they do all this without completely
Just kidding.
sacrificing their
I
flight
want to be
Oh
this
my
bird.
If they
god.
ever find themselves outmatched, which only ever happens against builds in higher weight classes,
Goodbye.
they can still retreat to the sky or treetops. The fact that this strategy works in Africa, one of the most unforgiving servers of all time, is proof enough to me that this is the optimal raptor. These last two builds are about equally matched, both opting for
Poor,
the same
look at
specialization.
He's so small and pathetic.
They look kiwi. No.
Penguin. No toucan.
Intelligence. Parrots are an extremely unique build with
I
several
mean, I guess
powerful
you can be a
not
pet.
least of
That
which
seems
is their
pretty lit.
sonic shriek, which can drive away just about any player who invaded their territory, especially when employed by a coordinated team.
Wait, they have a
In
shriek? I want to
addition,
hear it.
Due to their prehensile beak, parrots have the highest dexterity of any bird,
Interesting.
putting them among the best users of the tool use ability.
He's not even
And with
showing
an
the beak.
extremely high lifespan, if there was any build that could replace humans if humans ever get their intelligence nerfed, I'd bet on the parrot. I made an
Really?
entire video on parrots if you're interested, but when it comes to intelligence, there's one avian build that arguably outclasses them. Corvids, such as magpies, crows, and ravens, also opt for a high intelligence playstyle, but with a far more expansive social aspect to it. While plenty of bird builds use cooperative team strats, the best corvids operate using a network effect, where knowledge is shared with a huge amount of players over vast distances. This knowledge can include useful points of interest.
I would
or
like to
even
be the secretary
blacklists
bird.
Of dangerous areas or players to avoid. But even
Yeah, they got, like, high
individually,
heels.
Corvids have
Yeah.
a lot going for them.
The high heel
With
tech.
significantly higher stealth than parrots, corvids are much better at staying out of conflict. Their pointy beaks, while not as useful for tool
Hey,
use,
man, leave him
are a
alone.
much better combat tool for dealing quick damage. It's also more useful for pressuring and poking opponents, or for provoking larger players into battle, so they can reap the benefits of the aftermath. Corvids are one of the best builds at making use of human-made items, and quickly figure out ways of abusing the system to score quick loot. All in all, corvids are basically what you'd get if you gave monkeys wings. Easily a top-tier build. So there you have it, the complete bird tier list. Or
Poor
rather,
Kiwi.
as complete as I thought possible for YouTube. If I didn't
Never
do a
stood a
segment
chance.
on your favorite bird, please let me
Chickens
know
are
in the
C?
comments. Despite being the
I
longest
don't know about that. C tier? Alright, I'm entertained. That was a lot.